right now. Welcome to the African History Network show. It is Sunday, March 12th, 2023, and we are live. I posted an article back on March 6th on our Facebook fan page, the African History Network, dealing with Tyler Perry and Byron Allen. And there's a really good article dealing with how they are in talks apparently to purchase BET, Black Entertainment Television. Okay, so we have a good story about that. Variety.com has an article on that. Now they're trying to purchase it separately. I'm hoping they will come together and purchase it together. Okay, but they're trying to purchase it separately. Then we talked about a story back in 2021 dealing with Tanisha Tate Austin and Paul Tate Austin out of California, Marin, California. And they were lowballed, they felt, on a appraisal for their home. And they had a white friend sit in for them. And when the white friend sat in and pretended to be the homeowner, they had a different appraiser come out and appraise the home. The value of the home shot up by $500,000. Well, they filed a lawsuit, and we talked about this when it happened back when I was doing my radio show 5-6 days a week here on 9:10 a.m. WFDF. They filed a lawsuit, and this past week they actually settled the lawsuit. So we're going to give you an update in that story also. Okay. Black couple settles lawsuit after value of their California house allegedly soared when white friend pretended to be the owner. And there are a number of different stories that we've heard dealing with this, and they call it whitewashing your home, where you pretend that a white person is the homeowner as opposed to someone African American. And this is a example of systemic racism. Now you have some people, you have a bunch of Republicans running around saying systemic racism doesn't exist. You have some brain damaged Negroes running around parroting what their white benefactors are saying. But racism is a system of advantage and privilege distributed based upon race, which comes out of the ideology of European white supremacy. So just because you have multimillionaires or billionaires like a Tyler Perry or a Jay-Z or a Michael Jordan or something like that, that does not mean that racism does not exist. Okay. So we have to understand that. It just means it's not 100%. Okay. If it's 95%, that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist because it's not 100%. Now, speaking to somebody that's 100%, Sheryl Lee Ralph, who plays Barbara Howard on Abbott Elementary, and I've started watching Abbott Elementary as well on Hulu, okay, because they have all the archive episodes there on Hulu. So I went and watched it and watched all the episodes. It's a pretty good show, Abbott Elementary. I like that show. Well, something that we don't like is that idiot Megyn Kelly, who left Fox News to go to NBC, and she went to NBC News, and she was let go of from NBC News. That's when Tamron Hall left NBC News because she was perturbed. Let's put it like that for FCC regulated radio. She was perturbed at the deal that they gave Megyn Kelly, who came from Fox News, right? So Tamron Hall has her own daytime TV show. Well, we know that Sheryl Lee Ralph sang the Black National Anthem at the Super Bowl in February. And, we talked about the history of the Black National Anthem here on this show, and James Weldon Johnson in 1899, 1900, writing the Black National Anthem, writing a poem to commemorate the birthday of Abraham Lincoln. But also then he gave the lyrics to his brother Rosamond Johnson, and Rosamond put the melody to the lyrics, right? So Sheryl Lee Ralph did a fantastic job of singing the Black National Anthem. The few seconds that I saw of it, but I read a lot of it because I didn't watch any of the Super Bowl, and I didn't watch the halftime show either. But she's gotten backlash from Megyn Kelly and some other idiotic conservatives who attacked her singing the Black National Anthem. And they were saying things like there's only one national anthem. Well, Sheryl Ralph has something really, really important to say back to them on the Stephen Colbert show, Tune Out the News. Okay, so we're going to let you hear what happened there. And we're going to also talk some more about some of the history of the Black National Anthem. Now, I find it interesting that at the Super Bowl, and the NFL is 68%, 70% African American. You have some white people saying they should not sing the Black National Anthem, but the majority of the league is African American. I would ask the question, why are you singing the white national anthem during the NFL Super Bowl and the majority of the league is African American? Because this is the white national anthem. We'll talk about that as well. It was written by Francis Scott Key, September 1814, during the War of 1812. Francis Scott Key was a white supremacist slave owner who thought that African people were mentally inferior. And he used his position as district attorney in Washington, D.C. to attack abolitionists. And he tried to have one abolitionist named Reuben Crandall executed. And Reuben Crandall's crime was being caught with abolitionist material. This is the man that wrote the Star Spangled Banner, which started out as, it was originally called the Defense of Fort McHenry. This is good old Francis Scott Key. Now, speaking of slavery, reparations is back in the news, and the California Reparations Taskforce is awaiting a key decision when it comes to reparations and who will receive it and how compensation will be distributed. Okay, we talked about this on Monday, March 6th, on my appearance on The Culture with Farajii Muhammad on Roland Martin's Black Star Network. I'm going to let you hear what happened because we dealt with a lot of history there. And I also talked about the Black Freedmen Indian treaties of 1866. And I talked about separating legal arguments for reparations from nonsensical arguments for reparations. There was a study that came out a couple of years ago that said African Americans were owed $6 quadrillion for slavery in this country and segregation, things like this. $6 quadrillion. $6 quadrillion at the time the study came out did not exist in the entire world. What good is a study if you can't collect? It doesn't matter how much money you think you're owed. The only thing that matters is how much you can actually collect. So we'll discuss that as well. Now, also, and we have a jam-packed show, like I said, Harriet Tubman, a statue of Harriet Tubman has been revealed in Newark, New Jersey, okay? And it is replacing a statue of the master genocide, Christopher Columbus, okay? It's in the same place where a statue of Christopher Columbus was. Ras Baraka, the mayor of Newark, New Jersey, talked about this also. We're going to share some information dealing with this story as well on the African History Network show. And we have an update on the story, the tragic story out of Mexico. 4 African Americans were traveling to Mexico. One of them was having a cosmetic procedure done, and they were kidnapped. 2 were killed. One who was a survivor, he was shot in the leg. So 2 were rescued, and they're back here in the U.S. And when we first saw the story, I don't think many people knew that these were African Americans. And that's a tragic story regardless. But Mexican authorities have arrested 5 people linked to kidnappings of 4 African Americans, and the Gulf Cartel apparently has apologized for the killings and turned over 5 people who they said were involved in the killing of these 2 African Americans and the abduction of 2 others. So we have all this and more for you on today's episode of the African History Network show. Now we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's corrects wrong behavior. What you do for yourself, what you do to yourself, and what you allow other people to do to you and get away with is based upon what you think about yourself. What you think about yourself is based upon what you have been taught about yourself. What you've been taught about yourself is based upon everything you've read, heard, and seen about yourself. So when you control the radius of a man or woman's thoughts, you can control the circumference of his or her actions, because the mind can't do or teach what it doesn't know. Now, we deal with a number of different topics here on the African History Network show. We deal with current events and history. politics, economic empowerment, entrepreneurship, relationships, love, sex, health issues, and much, much more. Sign up for our email newsletter. Text the word Kemet, Kemet, to 22828. To sign up for our email newsletter, text the word Kemet, Kemet, to 22828. To sign up for our email newsletter. Also, visit our website, theafricanhistorynetwork.com. We're coming up on the break. Call-in numbers 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600 is the call-in number if you have a question or comment. Listen to the African History Network show. I'm Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes. Stand by.
I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. Now, we deal with a number of different topics here on the African History Network show. We do current events and history and much, much more. We're going to give you an update on what's going on. This is about self-preservation. We have to extinguish the fire of white supremacy to exercise consequences.
Catch it all right here on 910 AM Superstation.
Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM, the Superstation. Future Radio. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. All right, it's Sunday, March 12th, 2023, and we are live. Calling numbers 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600 is the call-in number if you have a question or comment. So we have some breaking news here that we're going to go to, and this deals with the Oscars. Now, I really don't care about the Oscars, but there were some African Americans up for Oscars this year, and we're all rooting for everybody black. So Angela Bassett snubbed again. Jamie Lee Curtis wins Best Supporting Actress. This is an article from blackamericaweb.com. If I can get these little ads from stop popping up. I hate these little ads. Angela Bassett snubbed again. Jamie Lee Curtis wins Best Supporting Actress. This is a breaking news story here. Now, Angela Bassett looked fantastic. And so Jamie Lee Curtis wins in a snub that her fans will take personally. Angela Bassett failed to win the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for her role as Queen Ramonda in Black Panther, who's the stepmother of T'Challa. Actually, if you actually understand the story coming from Marvel Comics, she's his stepmother. And she dealt with the loss of her son T'Challa in the film and an impending invasion in the Marvel Comics film Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which was a fantastic movie. Okay, fantastic movie. Now, Jamie Lee Curtis took home the Oscar trophy for Best Supporting Actress with a performance as Deidre Bobadre in the film comedy drama Everything Everywhere All at Once. Okay, now let me just be honest. I didn't hear about this movie until they started talking about it maybe a week ago with the Oscar buzz. Everything Everywhere All at Once. I don't know what that is. Okay, that sounds like a movie for people who are indecisive or something like that. But people who procrastinate, can't make up their mind what they want to do. Everything Everywhere All at Once. Jamie Lee Curtis plays an IRS inspector. And let's see, let's go to this article. She plays an IRS inspector and other numerous characters in a film also starring fellow Oscar nominees Michelle Yeoh, Yeoh, and Ke Huy Quan. Quan would go on to win Best Supporting Actor. Okay, so Angela Bassett's snub comes 30 years after her nomination for Best Actress playing the legendary Tina Turner in the biopic What's Love Got to Do with It? Fantastic movie also. Angela Bassett lost out to fellow actress Holly Hunter, who won for the film The Piano. I don't even remember the film The Piano. Who's Holly Hunter? I don't know. Come on. Angela Bassett is also the first actor in the Marvel universe, the Marvel comic universe, to be nominated and win an Academy Award for one of their films. Okay. All right. So you read the rest of this article from Black America Web. That's why, you're going to see Oscar So White trending again, I think this year as well. Hashtag Oscar So White. That's one of the reasons why we have our own award show. We do deserve to be recognized just like everybody else when it comes to the Academy Awards, because we're part of the Academy. We're part of the union. We pay our dues just like everybody else. We're in the same films that they're in. Okay. But we need to have more African Americans who are actually voting when it comes to the judges who actually vote. You need more African Americans. There has to be greater diversity when it comes to actually votes for those votes for the awards. All right, let's go to, I want to go to this first story here. This deals with one guy's a billionaire and the other, I guess, Byron Allen is probably close to being a billionaire, on his way to being a billionaire. Variety.com has this article dealing with Byron Allen and Tyler Perry. And the Washington Post was the first one to report this story, but they are in talks to purchase BET, Black Entertainment Television, originally founded by Bob Johnson and his wife, Sheila Johnson. Now they're trying to purchase it separately. I'm hoping they will come together and purchase it together, as opposed to one trying to compete against the other. All right. So if we go, and I want to pull up this picture as well. So they're in talks to purchase BET as Paramount Global, the parent company of BET, explores the sale. And we know that BET was an investor in Tyler Perry's first movie, okay, as well. It came out in 2005, Diary of a Mad Black Woman. We all remember that movie. Now, the Mad Black Woman was not Medea, okay, just so people who don't remember. No, it was not Medea. We look at this article here from Variety. Let me flip over to this. So media moguls Tyler Perry and Byron Allen are vying to purchase a majority stake of BET Media Group amid reports that owner Paramount Global is exploring a sale of the network, of the asset. Now, Variety magazine has confirmed that Tyler Perry is in talks to acquire the network, while a spokesperson for Byron Allen stated that the Allen Media Group founder, Byron Allen, is also interested in buying BET, quote, interested in buying BET, and he will be pursuing the acquisition of the network, end quote. Now, nothing is final right now. The deals may not go through, but Tyler Perry currently owns a minority stake in BET, which is ran by CEO Scott Mills, which includes Cabler's BET and VH1, and also produces a large portion of Tyler Perry produces a large portion of BET's programming. And if you look at the channel, if you look at the lineup on BET, it looks like Tyler Perry TV. I was looking at it yesterday. I was looking at the lineup, the different shows coming on, and they have all these episodes of House of Pain, and then they have Sisters and all this. I'm saying, is this already Tyler Perry TV? So he already produces a large portion of the programming available on BET and their streaming service BET Plus, which I started subscribing to. I may get rid of that. I still have to watch Chris Rock's Netflix special, and that's $19. What was it? $17.99, 19, something like that. They keep telling me to renew my subscription. And Tyler Perry helped launch the BET Plus streaming service back in 2019. So if you watch BET in 2019, you saw these commercials of Medea talking about the streaming service, things like this. So Tyler Perry is a minority owner in BET as it stands right now. Also among BET's divisions is a production company, BET Studios, which counts Kenya Barris, Rashida Jones, and Aaron Rashawn Thomas as minority stakeholders. Now, Tyler Perry and BET have a long history, as the network helped to fund his first feature film, 2005's Diary of a Mad Black Woman. Now, in 2017, Tyler Perry endeavored on a long-term film deal with Paramount, with a TV deal that began in May of 2020. The partnership has been a lucrative and successful endeavor for Tyler Perry. Paramount Global President and CEO Bob Bakish, Bakish, and BET's Scott Mills. In addition to selection from his film library. Among Tyler Perry's TV projects currently available on BET and BET Plus are House of Pain, which I do watch. I like the House of Pain. House of Pain, Sisters, don't watch Sisters. The Oval, I don't watch The Oval. Ruthless, I don't watch Ruthless. Zatima, I don't watch Zatima. And Assisted Living, I don't watch Assisted Living either. On Monday afternoon, Monday, March 6th, a spokesperson for Byron Allen spoke and said Byron Allen is also interested in purchasing BET. We'll continue this on the other side of the break. You listen to the African History Network show right here on 9:10 a.m. the Superstation Future Radio. I'm Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes. All right, stand by, everybody. Stand by. What is it going to do for true poor Black people? Well, one thing I could tell you, Tyler Perry hires more African Americans than pretty much anybody you can name. Not only that, when Tyler Perry, when they filmed Black Panther 1 and Black Panther 2, they filmed it a lot of that in Atlanta at Tyler Perry Studios, which employed a lot of African Americans. It helps to do some research. Stand by, back from break in 4 minutes. How's everybody doing? Share this broadcasting and social media platforms. Testing. Back from break in 4 minutes. All right, share this broadcasting and social media platforms. Give us a thumbs up, give us a heart, give us a like on the broadcast. Those watching on YouTube as well. You can support the African History Network also, those on Facebook and YouTube, those listening in audio podcast format. $ the AHN show through Cash App, $ the AHN show through Cash App, also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN show. We'll post the link here also. Back from break in 4 minutes. Stand by. Back from break in 3 minutes. Okay, how's the sound quality of the audio? How's the quality of the video? It should be really, really good because I had to buy a new laptop and this thing is not cheap at all. But the previous laptop that I had, it was wasn't the right type to be able to broadcast like I'm trying to broadcast. So that's why it would buffer and the audio was choppy, things like that. That's why. All right, back from break in 3 minutes. Stand by. Back from break in 3 minutes. Back from break in 2 minutes.
Those of the producers and or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 910 AM Superstation or Adele Media. We've got the topics, the guests, the opinions, and the facts.
I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. Now, we deal with a number of different topics here on the African History Network show. We do current events and histories and much, much more. We're going to give you an update on what's going on. This is about self-preservation. We have to extinguish the fire of white supremacy. See, elections have consequences.
Catch it all right here on 910 AM Superstation.
Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 a.m. the Superstation, the Future Radio. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Sunday, March 12th, 2022, and we are live. Calling numbers 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600 is the call-in number if you have a question or comment. So I see some people posting on social media about a story that we just broke here on the show, and this deals with Angela Bassett losing out to Jamie Lee Curtis for Best Supporting Actress. Angela Bassett, who had a fantastic performance in Wakanda Forever as Queen Ramonda, the stepmother of T'Challa. We know Chadwick Boseman tragically died in 2020, and Angela Bassett looks fabulous here. There's another Oscar snub. You probably see the hashtag Oscars so white, and they are so white. Oscars so white trending on social media, and a snub that our fans will take personally. Angela Bassett failed to win the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for her role in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. She lost to Jamie Lee Curtis for a movie that I'm not going to watch and never heard of before a week ago. On Good Morning America, you know, they were talking about the Oscars and who's nominated in all these different movies that I don't watch. And you know, these are movies. Does the bootleg man still exist? They used to sell DVDs. I don't know if he does. He doesn't carry some of these movies that are going to win the Oscars. I'm just telling you, these ain't worth it. Everything, everywhere, all at once. Okay. It sounds like somebody who's indecisive and has split personalities or something like that. But going back to the story that we were covering at the top of the show, this deals with Byron Allen and Tyler Perry, or Tyler Perry and Byron Allen, however you want to say it, whichever one comes first. The Wall Street Journal was the first to report this story. And then also Variety.com has a article on this as well. But the two are in talks to separately purchase BET, Black Entertainment Television. Okay, now we know Bob Johnson sold BET years ago. I think it was 2003. He sold it years ago, and Viacom owned it. Now Paramount owns it. So on Monday, March 6th, a spokesperson for Byron Allen confirmed that he's interested in buying BET. Now, in 2022, Byron Allen acquired the Black News Channel last year, 2022, for $11 million. He purchased it out of bankruptcy, and he purchased it from Shahid Khan, who is the owner of NFL team, the Panthers. And we know that Byron Allen had previously purchased the Weather Channel along with digital outlets such as Local Now, HBCU Go, and the Griot. So he bought the Griot digital platform, the digital news website, the griot.com. And Byron Allen flipped the Black News Channel that he purchased out of bankruptcy. He flipped that to the Griot TV. So I watched the Griot TV some. It's African-American owned and operated. So I do watch it some. I watch some of the news programming they have on the Griot. Now, quote, the decision to consider selling a majority stake of the assets, which cater primarily to Black audiences, is part of the entertainment giant's effort, BET, to shore up resources to bolster its flagship Paramount Plus streaming service and its advertiser-supported free streaming platform, Pluto TV. So if you watch Pluto TV, that's owned by the same people that own BET and VH1 and MTV. Okay, that's Paramount. Now, Byron Allen's Allen Media Group, which owns the Griot.com, has acquired the defunct Black News Channel as well. He owns the Jacksonville Jaguars, I should say. Shahid Khan owns the Jacksonville Jaguars. I knew it was some cat. I don't follow. I knew it was some big cat. It was. I don't follow the NFL anymore. I haven't watched the NFL game since Colin Kaepernick left the league in 2017. So I read articles here and there, but I don't follow the NFL. I can't even tell you who the coach of the I don't even know the name of the coach of the Lions. They keep changing. I remember Caldwell, the black guy. These other people, I don't know who these people are. All right, so we wish them the best of luck. Now, hopefully, I hope that these two brothers will pull their resources together. And in the spirit of cooperative economics, in the spirit of self-determination, I would like to see both of them go in there with a huge deal, make BET do a Bumpy Johnson on BET, make BET make BET an offer they can't refuse. Okay, do a Bumpy Johnson. All right. Now I'm not saying anything violent. You know, Godfather of Harlem is like my favorite show, new TV show. I think Abbott Elementary is like a close second, but I love Godfather of Harlem. And you know uh the technical consultant, the historical consultant on Godfather of Harlem is one of my teachers, Professor James Small, who we've had here on the African History Network show many times. So check out this article here from variety.com as well. The name of this article is Tyler Perry, Byron Allen in talks to buy majority stake in BET as Paramount Global Explores Sale, as Paramount Global Explores Sale. And let's pull this article up here. Yep. So check out this piece here as well. Also, there's an article at thegrio.com on the subject that you can read also. It's one from thegrio.com. Okay, see, this is why I don't have this is why I wasn't showing all these articles, because they have all these ads popping up. Tyler Perry in talks to buy majority stake in BET as Paramount Global Explores Sale. Byron Allen also pursuing network. All right, so that's why I'm not showing all these ads, because they ain't paying me a dime, and they're just interfering with what I'm doing. Okay, next I want to talk about this story that I talked about a lot back in 2021, especially when I was doing my radio show 6-7 days a week here on 9:10 a.m. WFDF. We're going to clip number 1 here in just a second, Doug. So we've all heard stories dealing with African Americans or African American couple who try to get their home appraised, and it comes back with a lowball appraisal value, and then they have a white person sit in for them, and it comes back $300,000, $400,000 dollars higher, $500,000 higher, right? Well, there was a story back in 2021 that we talked about as well, and this dealt with Paul Austin and Tanisha Tate Austin. Paul Austin and Tanisha Tate Austin, and we see the lovely couple here, African American couple, doing their thing. You know, bought a home, did renovations to the home, etc. And the home appraisal came back much lower than what they thought. So there's an article from NBC News. Black couple settles lawsuit after value of their California house allegedly soared when white friend feigned ownership, when white friend pretended to be the owner. Paul Austin and Tanisha Tate Austin said their Marin City home in California was valued at $995,000 before a white friend pretended to be the owner, and they received a $1.48 million estimate. Well, rightfully so, they filed a lawsuit behind this. So I want to go back to this story from 2021 from CBS News to recap what happened. Let's go to clip number 1, please, Doug.
That many African Americans have complained about for decades. Home values set too low when the owners are black. Tanisha Tate Austin and her husband Paul say a white woman who appraised their home said its value at less than $1 million. So they ran an experiment. If they had a white friend stand in as the homeowner, would that raise that number? Anna Werner shows what they found.
This was completely different.
Paul and Tanisha Tate Austin have been remodeling and improving their Marin City home ever since they bought it 5 years ago.
We opened this up. Open this up here. Yeah. Gutted the entire kitchen.
So when mortgage rates were low in early 2020, they jumped at the chance to refinance, something they had done in 2019 to take advantage of the home's higher value, generating more cash for additional improvements. That year, it appraised at over $1.4 million. But now, a year later, just $995,000.
And when it came in so low, we both were like, oh, this is wrong.
And so the impact of that number for you was what? Significant. I mean, it's the financial impact, but it's the emotional impact. It's the feeling every day, like the tax of being African American in this country. Like you don't know. It's a coin toss. You're not for sure what's going to happen.
So for a second appraisal, they decided to do something they felt would get them a better with a friend named Jan.
You said, let's do what? So
Okay, we'll continue this on the other side of the break. Listen to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM Superstation Future Radio. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. You can give us a call, 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600 is the call-in number if you have a question or comment. We'll be back in a few minutes. Stand by, back from break in 4 minutes. Stand by, back from break in 4 minutes. Stand by, everybody. Back from break in 2 minutes. All right, we got Fly Girl watching. We've got Matthew, Horn, Kenya, just a few of the people watching. Beverly.
There's a number of different topics here on the African History Network show. We do current events and history and much, much more. We're going to give you an update on what's going on. This is about self-preservation. We have to extinguish the fire of white supremacy. See, elections have consequences.
Catch it all right here on 910 AM Superstation.
Welcome back to the African History Network show. All right. We'll go to the phone lines here in a couple of minutes. Calling numbers 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600 is the call-in number if you have a question or comment. So right before the break, we were talking about the story. We finished the segment dealing with Tyler Perry and Byron Allen. And then we were talking about this story out of California, Marin City, California. And it deals with an African-American couple, Paul Austin and Tanisha Tate Austin, who are African-American homeowners, and they had a home appraised a couple of years ago. So originally we found out about this story back in 2021. They had their home appraised, and it came at the appraisal was at a much lower value than they thought that it should be. So then they had a white friend sit in for them. The white friend's name is Jan. It's a good white friend. Actually, I think everybody should have, all African Americans need a white friend like Jan. They had Jan sit in for them, and the home value shot up $100,000. There's an article from NBCnews.com because they filed a lawsuit. So back in 2021, we talked about this story extensively here on the African History Network show. And the update to the story is an article from November 8th. From what's the date of this article here? Let's be March 8th. This article from March 8th, 2023 from NBC News. Black couple settles lawsuit after value of their California house allegedly soared when white friend feigned ownership. Okay, Paul Austin and Tanisha Tate Austin said their Marin City residence was valued at $995,000 before a white friend pretended to be owner and received a $1.48 million estimate. So I was sharing a segment with you from CBS News back in 2021 from this is from December 8th, 2021, that recaps this story. Okay, let's go back to this clip, please, Doug.
In this country, like, you don't know, it's a coin toss. You're not for sure what's going to happen.
So for a second appraisal, they decided to do something they felt would get them a better number for sure, with the help of a friend named Jan.
You said, let's do what? So to Jan, I was like, we had a low appraisal. Will you be me? She's like, of course, I'll come over. And the thing to know about Jan is
She's white.
With Jan now playing homeowner, they cleared away their own photos and art.
We had to take down everything.
Yeah.
Like all of our art that you see around our homes, pictures, anything that's essentially resemble that this home belongs to a Black family.
It's like anything that was reminiscent of you and what you care about. Yes, you had to take down. Yeah.
Yes.
After what they call their whitewash, the new appraisal came in, nearly $1.5 million, close to $500,000 more than the appraisal roughly a month before.
You feel a sense of relief, like I told you, but you feel a sense of sadness, like, oh my goodness, like I can't believe that it appraised for. We had to do what we had to do in order to have our house appraised for what it should have appraised for from the start.
It's messed up. All right, like we shouldn't have to, I mean, you might as well say it's heartbreaking.
And they say it proves the first appraisal took race and historical demographics into account in violation of the Fair Housing Act. They're now suing the appraiser, who is white, claiming she used unsuitable, racially biased comparable home sales or comps in determining their home's worth, giving it a low market value. They're not the only ones whitewashing their homes to find out if they'll get a better appraisal. Black families in Indiana and Ohio did the same with similar results. A recent study finds homes in the nation's Black neighborhoods are often undervalued by an average of $48,000.
It left me just with a realization that America hasn't, gotten as far as it may think it has when it relates to race.
CBS News reached out to the appraiser and the company for comment, but have not heard back.
We really want people to understand that the practices of the appraisal system perpetuate Black people, people of color, from being able to build wealth in their communities. And that has to stop.
For CBS Mornings, I'm Anna Werner in Marin City, California.
All right. Thanks for that clip, Doug. Okay. So now they filed a lawsuit. This past week, they settled the lawsuit. All right. An African-American couple settled their lawsuit against a real estate company, which had estimated the pair's Northern California home to be worth nearly $500,000 less than when a white friend pretended to be its owner. The plaintiff said on Wednesday, this past Wednesday, which was March 8th. Now, Tanisha Tate Austin and her husband, Paul Austin, sought to refinance their mortgage in late 2020. So they brought in Jeanette Miller, Jenettee, Jeanette Miller, and her firm, Miller and Farajii Real Estate Appraisers, who assessed the couple's Marin City home to be worth $995,000, according to the plaintiff's civil complaint. Now, the African-American couple, believing their race played a role in the estimate, then had a different appraiser look through the home or appraise the home. But this time, quote, the Austins erased any evidence of their racial identities inside their house, removing family photos and African-themed art. Okay, you got to take down all your Black Panther Party for self-defense books. You got to take down the autobiography of Malcolm X. You know, you got to take down Dr. Chancellor Williams' book, The Destruction of Black Civilization. You got to take all that stuff down. Now Valley Contributions to Civilization by Tony Browder, everything. Okay. And they had a white friend pose as the owner, quote, with photos of her own family, end quote, according to a statement by Fair Housing Advocates of Northern California, which backed the couple's lawsuit. Now, the second appraisal made to the decoy white homeowner named Jan, the second appraisal came several weeks later, and it came in at $1,482,500, the couple says. Quote, even decades after the Fair Housing Act of 1968, which came about because of the modern day civil rights movement, we still find evidence of housing discrimination fairly often, end quote. Fair Housing Advocates of Northern California supervising attorney Julia Howard Gibbon told NBC News on Wednesday, March 8th. We'll continue this on the other side of the break. You listen to the African History Network show. We'll go to the phone lines as well. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. Calling number is 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600. When we come back, we'll go to the phone lines also. We'll go to Bomani, and we'll go to Irma, and we'll go to you. All right, stand by. Back from break in 4 minutes. Stand by, everybody. Back from break in 4 minutes. All right, you can register for the online history classes I teach on Saturdays and Sundays. Saturdays, it's ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. Next class is Saturday, March 18th, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we have the information right here on the homepage of our website, theafricanhistorynetwork.com. You don't have to be in class live. We do the sessions live. All the sessions are archived and recorded. You can go back and watch it anytime. So if you missed yesterday's class, you can go back and watch it. In today's class, we made it a free class session. So you visit our website, you can register for it and watch it. Stand by. So our class on Sundays is Black resistance movements from the Haitian Revolution to the U.S. Civil Wars, Civil Rights Movement, Black Power Movement, 1800 to 1968. So we did that class today, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everybody's schedule is thrown off because of daylight savings time. My schedule is thrown off as well. All right, Bernard, thanks for the donation. We definitely appreciate that. Definitely need that. So if you like this type of information and we're doing upgrades with our equipment and everything and expanding, you can support us. You can register for the online history classes that I teach. Also, you can support us, $ the AHN show through Cash App and through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN show. Back from break in 2 minutes. Stand by.
AM Superstation, a division of Adele Media. The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 910 AM Superstation or Adele Media. We got the topics, the guests, the opinions, and the facts.
I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. Now, we deal with a number of different topics here on the After History Network show. We do with current events and history and much, much more. We're going to give you an update on what's going on. This is about self-preservation. We have to extinguish the fire of white supremacy. See, let's just have consequences.
Catch it all right here on 910 AM Superstation.
Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM, the Superstation. All right. I want to go back and finish this topic up, and we'll go to the phone lines also here. Okay, so this deals with the story out of Marin City in California. Black couple settles lawsuit after value of their California house allegedly soared when white friend faked being the owner. NBC News.com has a story regarding this. Now, we know the Fair Housing Act bans discrimination when it comes to buying homes and renting homes. The Fair Housing Act of 1968, which was a result of the modern day civil rights movement. As creative a plan as this seemed to be, let me back up. Even decades after the Fair Housing Act of 1968, we still find evidence of housing discrimination fairly often, said Attorney Attorney Julia Howard Gibbon of the Fair Housing Advocates of North Carolina. She told NBC News this on Wednesday, March 8th. Now, as creative as a plan as the Austins had, Howard Gibbon said the ploy is a well-known one within African-American real estate circles, Quote, we've heard from a lot of Black homeowners, and this is kind of a known thing, she said. We've been hearing that Black homeowners have been doing this for years. They know to take down their family photos and have a white friend stand in for them. Okay, and it's called whitewashing. It's actually called whitewashing. Now, the settlement agreement, quote, included an undisclosed monetary amount, end quote, and defendants will have to watch a documentary. Defendants will have to watch a documentary called Our America Lowballed. Our America Lowballed. They'll have to attend a training session regarding the history of racial discrimination in real estate and promise, quote, not to discriminate in the future, end quote, according to the plaintiffs. I don't know if there's something more rigid that's going to take place or more detrimental, but we'll see. Now, while the Marin City homeowners did get their mortgage refinanced, However, interest rates ticked up in the time it took to get a second appraisal, costing the couple some dollars. Attorney Julia Howard Gabon said, quote, having to erase our identity to get a better appraisal was a wrenching experience, said Tanisha Tate Austin, wife of Paul Austin. Quote, we know of other Black families who either could not get a loan because of a discriminatory appraisal and therefore either lost the opportunity to buy or sell a home, or they had to sell their home because they had an unaffordable loan, end quote. Okay, now this is understanding racism as a system of advantage and privilege distributed based upon race and how racism plays a part when it comes to the home values and prohibits many African Americans or reduces their ability to pass on generational wealth. Miller, her attorney, and representatives of Miller and Farajii residential real estate appraisers did not return multiple telephone and email messages seeking their comments on Wednesday, March 8th, as NBC News reported. Let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to Irma, line 2. Irma, welcome to the African History Network show. Thanks for holding. Tell us where you're calling from.
I'm calling from Detroit, Michigan.
Okay, Detroit, Michigan. All right. Go ahead with your question or comment.
I have a comment. Someone wrote on the chat there about how this purchase of BET by Tyler Perry or Byron Allen is going to help as his person said, the poor community, poor Black people. If they buy it and they purchase it, they're going to have to hire people. And when you employ people, you change their life. Their life that they can buy a house, they can, do investments. They now maybe have some stable income. Over the long term, you change people's lives.
Right.
That's why it's important for that. You're not just benefiting them. They can't do this by themselves. They can't run these businesses they have by themselves. They have to hire people to do that.
Exactly.
And if it goes for maybe down the road, they go public or something like that, you're going to do some investments. And we have to stop and think of ourselves as poor. We are not, as a group, poor. Mm-hmm. We've been brainwashed to think that way. And stop thinking, what is it going to do for me? I can't, stop thinking like as a one person. You got to think of yourself as a group.
Right.
And we're not poor.
Well,
I'm getting kind of tired and frustrated with that, how we label ourselves.
Right. Well,
but anyway, I know you're going to maybe somebody else, but I'm just telling you, you got to think better than that, a little bit higher.
Right. All right. Thanks for your call, Irma. Yeah, I responded to the person.
All right.
I responded to the person on YouTube, and I hear nonsense like that all the time. People that make those type of remarks, what they're going to do for the poor people, things like that. They don't understand success is where preparation meets opportunity. Let me show you an example here. So when we look at the first Black Panther movie, now this is an article from Deadline.com. I dealt with this when it came out. Black Panther generates $89.3 million for Georgia economy. Black Panther, the first Black Panther movie, generated $89.3 million for the Georgia economy. The majority of the film, or a good portion of the film Black Panther, if not the majority of it, the first Black Panther, was filmed at Tyler Perry's studios in Atlanta that he owns. Okay, when you look at this, They talk about how they hired more than the producers there of Black Panther hired more than 3,100 workers across Georgia. Okay, many of them were African Americans. Now, if you just sit at home watching the Jeffersons and Good Times and Sanford and Son all day and don't apply for any jobs, don't take advantage of opportunities that are created, well, you're just going to keep on getting what you're getting. But let's look at this. The event was a community screening of the highly anticipated superhero pick for films, for the film's local crew. Rifkin also pointed out that the film contributed over $26.5 million in wages to more than 3,100 workers across Georgia. So they talk about the economic impact that this film had, but those who actually understand the filming of Black Panther, most of this was filmed at Tyler Perry Studios that he bought, and he employs a lot of African Americans. So Atlanta, it's the studios in Atlanta. Atlanta is really like Wakanda when you really think about it. And he employs a lot of African Americans on his TV shows. Now, some people may have problems with him not using a lot of union people and things like that, but he does employ and create a lot of opportunities for African Americans. If he buys BET, he'll create even more. And Byron Allen would do the same thing. And Byron Allen does this with the Griot. He does this with the Griot TV. He does this with the Griot.com and his other ventures as well. So success is where preparation meets opportunity. Now, if you don't apply for any of these jobs, well, you just sit on YouTube just complaining. Okay, so I don't pay attention to a lot of nonsense like that. But thanks for calling, Irma. Okay, 313-778-7600 is the call-in number if you have a question or comment. All right. Now these people will complain to be some of the same people who say we need Black-owned businesses. We need Black-owned businesses. We need people to hire our people. We need people to hire our people. Three types of people in the world: people who make things happen, watch things happen, and wonder what the hell just happened. 313-778-7600 is the call-in number if you have a question or comment. All right. Let's go to the next story here. Speaking of what the hell just happened, Megyn Kelly is decided to comment on Sheryl Ralph performing "Lift Every Voice and Sing" the Black National Anthem at the Super Bowl. Okay, that was a bad mistake. Okay, that was a bad mistake. So this is a story from what's this? The Daily Beast, thedailybeast.com. We're going to clip number 2, Doug, here in just a minute, and then we'll go to the phone lines. Miss Sheryl Ralph, who performed the Black National Anthem at the Super Bowl, and I saw a few seconds of it. I know she can sing. Okay, I watch her as Barbara Howard on Abbott Elementary. Okay, so we know she can sing. We first saw her in 1977, A Piece of the Action, Sidney Poitier, Bill Cosby, Denise Nichols, and James Earl Jones, right? Well, Megyn Kelly has some comments, as well as crazy Lauren Boebert of Colorado. I think she won her House seat by something like 350 votes. Last month's Super Bowl taught millions of Americans a couple of things. One is that Rihanna is having another baby with A$AP Rocky. And two, African Americans have their own national anthem. Now, the Black National Anthem has been around 123 years. So if you did not know that African Americans have our own national anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing, I don't know where you've been. You probably don't have any African American friends, okay, if you didn't know that. If you happen to miss this section of the Super Bowl before Rihanna performed at the halftime show, Broadway icon and Abbott Elementary star Sheryl Ralph performed a rousing rendition of Lift Every Voice and Sing, also known as the Black National Anthem. Notably, it was the first time that this song, written by James Weldon Johnson in 1899, 1900, had been performed during the broadcast. Now, in previous years, they showed it pre-recorded before the game started, like Alicia Keys performed it. It was pre-recorded, or it was performed outside of the stadium like Mary Mary did. I like Mary Mary, like Mary Mary did. This was part of the game inside the stadium at the beginning of the game. Now, notably, it was the first time the song written by James Weldon Johnson had been performed during the broadcast. This, of course, sent some racist and conservative pundits into a frenzy. These snowflakes are just melting. They said, how dare these people have a Black national anthem? We're going to segregate them. We're going to push them into the ghettos of America. And then they're going to create a national anthem for their own. How dare they? You don't want the white national anthem created by a racist slave owner named Francis Scott Key? You don't want to sing that? You want something of your own? You listen to the African History Network show. I'm Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes. All right, stand by. Back from break in 4 minutes. All right, share this broadcasting and social media platforms. We'll be back from break in 4 minutes. Okay, where are we on time? I got to keep track of time. Hold on. All right, who still needs to register for the online history classes that I teach on Saturdays and Sundays? What was that? Black National Anthem. We'll post information here, and it's on the homepage of our website. Stand by. I got to prepare for this next segment. Where was that lecture? Oh. Back from break in 3 minutes. Stand by, everybody. James Weldon Johnson. What was that under? Damn, I can't remember which. Back from break in 2 minutes. I'm trying to remember which presentation I had. Oh, you know what? That's in 6 Principles of Political Self-Defense. That's what that's in.
The opinions and the facts.
I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. Now, we deal with a number of different topics here on the African History Network show. We do with current events and histories and much, much more. We're going to give you an update on what's going on. This is about self-preservation. We have to extinguish the fire of white supremacy. See, let's just have consequences.
Catch it all right here on 910 AM Superstation.
Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM, the Superstation. Okay, if you missed the online classes, plural, that I teach on the weekend, Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they didn't teach you in school, and Black resistance movements from the Haitian Revolution to the U.S. Civil War, Civil Rights Movement, and Black Power Movement. Visit our website, theafricanhistorynetwork.com, theafricanhistorynetwork.com. You can register for both of those online courses right now. We had 2 fantastic classes this weekend. As soon as you register, you can watch those courses. You can watch those classes. We do the sessions live. All the sessions are archived and recorded. You can go back and watch them anytime, even a year from now, 2 years from now, you can go back and watch the entire class. We deal with thousands of years of history and what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. So our next class for the Saturday class will be Saturday, March 18th, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the class is on sale, $80, regular $130. We have a bundle pack of courses where you can register for both classes for $120. That's a $300 value. There'll be 5 free lectures that will be in the video library that you can watch of mine also. And the second class that I teach, we teach this on Sundays, normally 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because today is, we started daylight savings time and we sprung forward. Everybody's schedule was off. So we started the class at 4 p.m. today. I did a free class session today. So you can go to our website, theafricanhistorynetwork.com. You can still register for that free class session and watch it on demand. Then register for the full 12-week online course. And we deal with history chronologically from 1800 through 1968, and we deal with the what leads to the U.S. Civil War taking place. We deal with the Reconstruction era, 1865, 1877, Great Migration, 1915, 1970, Jim Crow era, World War I, World War II, Civil Rights Movement, and Black Power Movement, to understand what happened to us after slavery ended. What were the laws and policies put in place to put us where we are today, to understand where we need to go from here. Okay, so visit our website, theafricanhistorynetwork.com, to register for those online courses and for more information. You can also email us at ahnshow@theafricanhistorynetwork.com, or email us right through the website. Okay, so I want to go back to the story here dealing with Sheryl Lee Ralph, and we'll go to the phone lines also. All right. So you had some white conservatives, and we talked about this back in February when the Super Bowl took place, who were attacking the NFL for having Sheryl Lee Ralph perform the Black National Anthem. And some people just found out that there is a Black National Anthem after 123 years. They found out, oh, there's a Black National Anthem. You know, it's just like 1976, basically, you know, America found out about Black History Month. We've been celebrating Negro History Week for 50 years. Going back to 1926, we've been celebrating in 1976. Oh, they have a celebration. Okay, so I guess some people probably just found out about Kwanzaa back like December or January, something like that. Now, Sheryl Lee Ralph was responding to haters. She's responding to the haters in her characteristically funny and charming fashion. On Wednesday night's episode of Comedy Central's Tuning Out the News. That's on the Stephen Colbert Show. I don't watch Stephen Colbert. In an exclusive clip for the Daily Beast, Megyn Kelly on her radio show on February 13th, 2023, the former Fox News host that was let go of by NBC News because her ratings were terrible. She said, there is no reason to have a Black National Anthem sung before the Super Bowl because 70% of the NFL is Black and they should be happy singing the white national anthem. They like white women. They should like the white national anthem. That's not her. She didn't say that. She may have thought that. I'm saying that. Okay. Is it, you know, all right. but there's one that she said, there's one national anthem. It unites us all. Okay. It's about love of country. Okay. Obviously, Megyn Kelly has never studied Francis Scott Key. Francis Scott Key did not love African people. Okay, he may have loved the fact that he enslaved African people, but he did not love African people. He thought they were mentally inferior, and he fought against abolitionists. Okay, I love it when you have these people who are totally clueless of history, who just, open up their mouth and remove all doubt of their ignorance. I want to go to this clip here of tuning out the news, and we're going to hear Miss Sheryl Lee Ralph, Barbara Howard of Abbott Elementary, respond to Miss Megyn Kelly. Let's go to clip 2, Doug.
Sheryl, your stirring rendition of Lift Every Voice and Sing, known as the Black National Anthem before the Super Bowl, earned a lot of praise, but also negative reviews such as, I don't want to look up what that song means or think about it. Now, Congresswoman and created a swing district out of thin air, Lauren Boebert, tweeted, America only has one national anthem. Why is the NFL trying to divide us by playing multiple? Do football, not wokeness. But Lauren Boebert was not alone. America's foremost Santa Claus genealogist, Megyn Kelly, said this on her radio show.
There is no reason to have a Black National Anthem sung before the Super Bowl. But there's one national anthem. It unites us all. It's about love of country. There's no point in dividing us by race, going into something that is already unifying as a country.
Oh, that woman is amazing. I mean, I wish that she was as smart, as beautiful as she is. Can you imagine? That song, Lift Every Voice and Sing, is 123 years old, and it was written to commemorate the birthday of our 16th president, Abraham Lincoln. I mean, the fact that people want to feel divided by such sentiment and such lyrics, it tells you that there are some people in the country, in the world, that I guess there's nothing that will ever truly make them happy until America is no longer the home of the free and the brave.
Wow, that is, I mean, I'm about to give an equally amazing speech. I mean, if I could agree with Megyn Kelly here and push back a little bit, I think Megyn Kelly is right. In the melting pot we call America, any celebration of one group is an all-out assault on everyone else.
Exactly. We need to keep politics out of sports and where it belongs, in every other facet of American life, including sports.
Yeah, and look, songs celebrating certain groups of people should be banned. Hey, by the way, who's coming to my St. Patrick's Day Irish folk song Scream Along?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, man.
Sheryl,
and I lost my leg.
All right, pause it right there. Okay, pause it right there. All right, thanks, Doug. Okay, so Sheryl Lee Ralph has a lot of class, and she talked about it being 123 years old. Lift Every Voice and Sing. So I guess it's Megyn Kelly's probably half as old as Lift Every Voice and Sing, right? But she looks half as old. I don't know. So I find it interesting. It's just like the people who talk about singing saying the Pledge of Allegiance, right? And you have a lot of conservatives who say, "Oh, you should say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag, indivisible, one nation, etc." Right? Until they find out that the man that wrote the Pledge of Allegiance was a socialist. Francis Bellamy wrote the Pledge of Allegiance. He was a minister and he was a socialist. When they find that out, then it's like, let's rethink this, right? So let's look at some history of first the Black National Anthem, written by one of my frat brothers of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, James Weldon Johnson. Okay, I didn't know him personally. I'm not that old, but he wrote it in 1900. Okay. So James, let's look at this here. I've dealt with this in some of my lectures in the past. I'm gonna go to my one of my presentations here. WatchTheYard.com had an article. Did you know the man who wrote Lift Every Voice and Sing was a member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated? So the name of the song is Lift Every Voice and Sing, the Black National Anthem, written by James Weldon Johnson in 1899, 1900. And James Weldon Johnson Also organized a silent march in 1917, where you had 10,000 African Americans marching up and marching down Fifth Avenue in Manhattan, demanding a federal anti-lynching bill. And this was shortly after the East St. Louis, Illinois race riot, 1917. And we know that this song is going to also become the adopted by the NAACP as the Black National Anthem. So a little background history on this. In 1899, a young poet and school principal named James Weldon Johnson was asked to address a crowd in Jacksonville, Florida, for the coming anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birthday. Just 2 decades had passed since the Reconstruction era, which ended in 1877, and lynchings were on the rise in the segregated South. We'll continue this on the other side of the break. We'll also talk about those 4 African Americans who were kidnapped in Mexico, and 2 were killed. And the Gulf Cartel is saying that they were responsible for this, but they said it was a case of mistaken identity. We'll be back in a few minutes. Stand by. All right, back from break in 4 minutes. How's everybody doing? Back from break in 4 minutes, everybody. Okay, how's the broadcast coming through? How's the video coming through? Let me know. How's the audio? Audio should be really good, because I had to do an equipment upgrade, and audio should be really good. All right, back for break in 3 minutes. Everybody stand by. Back from break in 3 minutes. Okay, now where are we on time? I need to pay attention to this. Stand by. Okay, we're going to go to Farajii Muhammad's show, The Culture. Yeah, we got to do that. And we have to squeeze in this last story. Well, we got 2-3 stories left. We're going to squeeze all this stuff in. So we're going to go to the clip from Farajii Muhammad's show. Is down there. Yeah, we're not going to have a lot of time for this history lesson on James Weldon Johnson. I've got to get to these other topics. After break in 1 minute, we'll try to squeeze this in. We've got back from break in 2 minutes, everybody. This is live radio, so this is what goes on behind the scenes. What's this, March? You know what? Yesterday was the 13th anniversary of me broadcasting the African History Network show. I was so busy, I didn't even realize it.
The program are those of the producers and or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 910 AM Superstation or Adele Media. We've got the topics, the guests, the opinions, and the facts.
I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. Now, we deal with a number of different topics here on the After History Network show. We do current events and history and much, much more. We're going to give you an update on what's going on. This is about self-preservation. We have to extinguish the fire of white supremacy. See, that's just our consequences.
Catch it all right here on 910 AM Superstation.
Welcome back to the After History Network show. All right, calling numbers 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600 is the call-in number if you have a quick question or comment. We'll go to the phone lines here in just a second. I got to finish up this topic here, and then I want you to hear what happened on Monday, March 6th on Farajii Muhammad's show, The Culture, when I made my weekly appearance on there. On his show on the Black Star Media Network. Okay, so I was talking about James Weldon Johnson and the creation of the writing of Lift Every Voice and Sing and how it came about, right? So in 1899, a young poet and school principal named James Weldon Johnson was asked to address a crowd in Jacksonville, Florida, for the coming anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birthday. So Lincoln's birthday is February 12th. Just 2 decades had passed since the Reconstruction era ended. Reconstruction ended in 1877, and lynchings were on the rise in the segregated South. Instead of preparing an ordinary speech, James Weldon Johnson decided to write a poem. The poem started with the phrase "Lift every voice and sing." Lift every voice, evoking the struggle and resilience of our ancestors. Now, the following year, a chorus of 500 school children performed the song at the Lincoln celebration. The song quickly took off, becoming a rallying cry for African American communities in the South, or as one observer noted at the time, quote, "a collective prayer," end quote, "a collective prayer," end quote. Now, the song was embraced as a hymn in churches and performed at graduation ceremonies and in school assemblies. Within 20 years, the NAACP adopted Lift Every Voice and Sing as its official song. For generations to come, it would be known widely as the Black National Anthem. For more information, read this article from the Washington Post called "Lift Every Voice and Sing: The Story Behind the Black National Anthem That Beyonce Sang." This is from August 16th, 2018. This is when Beyonce sang the Black National Anthem at Coachella. All right, so if we also look at this article here quickly from SmithsonianMag.com, this gives some background information on the man who wrote the white national anthem, Francis Scott Key, the white supremacist slave owner, Francis Scott Key. Where's the debate on Francis Scott Key's slaveholding legacy? During his lifetime, abolitionists ridiculed Francis Scott Key's words, sneering that America was more like the land of the free and the home of the oppressed. Now, this is an article from July 1st, 2016, okay? And it talks about, let's see here, let me go to this here. Okay, so it gives some background information on Francis Scott Key, and it shows a picture of him in here also. Let's look at this here. Francis Scott Key, a slaveholding lawyer from an old Maryland plantation family, wrote the song Star Spangled Banner, which originally was called The Defense of Fort McHenry, that would in 1931 become the white national anthem, or just plainly called the national anthem, and proclaim our nation, quote unquote, the land of the free. Now, 1814, slavery was still going on in the United States, and Francis Scott Key was participating in that. If we look at this article quickly, in 1814, Francis Scott Key was a slaveholding lawyer from an old Maryland family Old Maryland plantation family who thanks to a system of human bondage had grown rich and powerful. You think he would love black people for making him rich and powerful, but not old Francis. When he wrote the poem that would in 1931 become the national anthem and proclaim our nation, quote unquote, the land of the free, like Thomas Jefferson, Francis Scott Key not only profited from African slaves, but he harbored racist conceptions of American citizenship and human potential. Megyn Kelly. Now, Africans in America, he said, were, quote, a distinct and inferior race of people, a distinct and inferior race of people, which all experience proves to be the greatest evil that afflicts a community, end quote. Now, a few weeks after British troops in the War of 1812 stunned and demoralized America by attacking Washington, D.C. and setting the U.S. Capitol building on fire, and they burned down the White House also. I don't know if this is where the phrase, the roof is on fire. We don't need no water. I don't know if that's where that came from when they set the White House on fire and the U.S. Capitol building. I don't know. Okay, but or maybe it came from in 1676 when Nathaniel Bacon and his band of rebels of 500 rebels burned down the town of Jamestown, Virginia. Go study Bacon's Rebellion. We talked about that in class today. When you register for the free class I did today, we got deep into Bacon's Rebellion, and we tied that to the introduction of the term white in the British colonies, starting in Virginia, 1681. Then that's connected to the Virginia Slave Code of 1705. In Section 4 of the Virginia Slave Code of 1705 made a distinction between the treatment of Moors and the treatment of Negroes. And then we talked about the Stono Rebellion of 1739 in South Carolina, the Negro Act of 1740 in South Carolina, which came about because of the Stono Rebellion, and it controlled the movement of African slaves. And then that's related to the Treaty of Peace and Friendship 1786 between the United States and Morocco in North Africa, and then the Petition of the Free Sundry Moors of 1790 in South Carolina. Okay, so if you missed today's class, you missed a lot. But luckily for you, it's archived, so you can visit our website, theafricanhistorynetwork.com, and register for it. We did a free class session. Once you see that, you'll want to register for the full 12-week online course. Okay, so let's go back to good old Francis here, a real American hero. So the British turned their attention to the vital seaport of Baltimore, and he witnesses an attack on Fort McHenry, okay, in Baltimore, and he writes the poem that is going to become the Star Spangled Banner. On September 13th, 1814, British warships commenced an attack on Fort McHenry, which protected the city's harbor. For 25 hours, bombs and rockets rained down on the fort, while Americans, still wondering whether their newfound freedom would really be so short-lived, awaited news of Baltimore's fate. Francis Scott Key stuck aboard a British ship where he had been negotiating a prisoner release, and he was barred by the officers on the ship from leaving because he knew too much about their position, could only watch the battle and hope for the best. Okay, and after the bombing was over, he saw the flag was still there, and that's referenced in the Star Spangled Banner. Now, some people may say, well, the third stanza of the song is racist, where they say no refuge for the hireling or the slave. No, it's the entire song is a white supremacist song where you understand Francis Scott Key and his history. So you can start your research here. Okay, read this article from SmithsonianMag.com, official website of the Smithsonian Institute. Where's the debate on Francis Scott Key's slaveholding past? Speaking of slavery, California Reparations Taskforce is going to make a decision very soon dealing with how reparations will be distributed and who will get it. Okay, now there was an article from thegrio.com, and we talked about this on Farajii Muhammad's show, The Culture, when I was on March 6th, Monday, March 6th. Nearly 2 years into the California Reparations Task Force work, the group still has yet to make key decisions that will be at the heart of its final report, recommending how the state should apologize and compensate Black residents for the harm caused by slavery and discrimination. Now, a vote possibly slated, it was supposed to take place like a week ago or so, but it hasn't happened. A week or two ago. It deals with requirements for who would be eligible for payments and other remedies. Who would be eligible for payments and other remedies? Doug, we're going to clip number, was this clip number 3? We're going to clip number 3 here in, when we come back from the break. So cue that up, please. We're going to talk about reparations, and we'll go to the phone lines. You listen to the African History Network show. I'm Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes. Stand by. Back from break in 2 minutes.
Imhotep. Now, we deal with a number of different topics here on the After History Network show. We do with current events and history and much, much more. We're going to give you an update on what's going on. This is about self-preservation. We have to extinguish the fire of white supremacy. See, let's just have consequences.
Catch it all right here on 910 AM Superstation.
Welcome back to the African History Network show. All right. Let's see. We're running out of time here. Okay, Doug, we're going to clip number 3. This is from Farajii Muhammad's show, The Culture, from March 6th. And we talked about the reparations, California Reparations Taskforce. Let's go to the clip, please.
So for some time, and this is the issue of reparations. Well, there's been another development in the case of reparations, particularly here in the state of California, as Californians are now awaiting a big report to come out of the California Reparations Taskforce, where they will provide some recommendations on how the state of California can move forward in possibly creating some program or some space within the state government where reparations can be distributed. Let me share with you a little bit about where we are with this. Take a look at this. This is coming from the Grio, but it says that a vote is possibly slated for this weekend on requirements for who would be eligible for payments, and other remedies was delayed because of the absence of one of the committee's 9 members. But the group may vote Saturday on whether lawmakers should create an agency to implement an eventual reparations program. Now, lawmakers passed legislation in 2020 creating the task force to assess how the legacy of slavery harmed African Americans long after its abolition through education, criminal justice, and other disparities. The legislation directs the task force to study reparations proposal with a special consideration for the descendants of enslaved Black people living in California, and is not meant to create a program in lieu of one from the federal government. Let me bring in my brother. One more. The first of its kind in the country, but some used the group's latest 2-day meeting in Sacramento to warn that not enough Black Californians are sufficiently informed about its work. All right, let me bring my brother in, Brother Michael Imhotep, who is a researcher, scholar. He's host of the African History Network podcast show, and you can see it on YouTube and in other social media. And we're happy to have him on Mondays as well. Brother Michael, how are you, sir? Good afternoon.
Hey, Farajii, I'm doing all right. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. We can hear you. We can hear you. All right. So you've been staying on top of this reparations piece. And particularly what's been happening here in the state of California. But the latest about the fact that there's this big report that's supposed to come out from the task force, the reparations task force, trying to move the ball forward. What do you expect that this report will say, or how this thing is going to move forward, Brother Michael?
Well, the deadline is July 1st, and they're going to release a report that deals with how they're going to deals with what the recommendations are for reparations and how it will be distributed, who it will go to, things of this nature. Now, back in 2022, they took a vote dealing with how to determine the criteria for who would get reparations, and that dealt with doing it based upon lineage. So you would have to trace you have to be able to trace your ancestry here in this country back to an African American person who was here in the U.S. prior to 1900. Okay, either an enslaved person or it could also a free person, but they had to be here prior to 1900, from my understanding. So some people some African Americans did not like this, and they said that this is not going to be inclusive of all of the African Americans in California. So African Americans make about 2.5, 2.6 million of them in California. Now, the reason why they had to do it based upon lineage, as opposed to just saying this is all for. Say it again.
No, I was just going to say versus just saying you're black.
Yeah. Well, the reason why they had to do it based upon lineage as opposed to based upon race is because in the state of California, race-based policies are illegal, and they want to make sure that when this gets challenged in court, and it definitely will be challenged in court, they want to make sure that it will not be overturned in court because it's deemed illegal and violates California state law. So I've been reading different articles, and you have different people and activists, things like this, upset that it won't go to all African Americans in California. And it seems like a lot of us really don't understand law. And if you have Republicans filing lawsuits to block student loan debt forgiveness, and it's going to help millions of white people, you think they're not going to file lawsuits to block this? Reparations in California, and African Americans are only like 5.4, 5.5% of the California population. We're not the majority of the California population. So, there was an article that came out also from the Washington Post, and it dealt with San Francisco debates reparations, $5 million for each, $5 million each for black residents. That ain't gonna happen. That's not gonna happen at all. I mean, not in your wildest dreams will something like that happen. And Dr. Derek,
you had to shoot it down like that.
$5 million. No, that's not gonna happen. That's like the study. There was a study that came out a couple of years ago. Yeah, this one right here. There's a study that came out a couple of years ago, and it said African Americans were owed $6 quadrillion for slavery. $6 quadrillion did not exist in the entire world when the study came out. So the first thing, if that's more money than exists in the entire world, what good is the study? We have to understand it doesn't matter how much you think you're owed. The only thing that matters is how much you can actually collect. All this stuff floating around out here, six quadrillion. At the time, maybe about 2020, there was an astrophysicist who did a study and found that $5 quadrillion existed in the world. A quadrillion is one followed by 18 zeros. If 6 quadrillion don't exist in the entire world, what good is the study? Then the other thing is try to enforce it. Try to enforce it. If you can't get a bill passed to study reparations, explain to me how you get one passed to pay reparations. See, we're not thinking about this logically.
You might as well just put our children up and just be like, "Hey, I'm gonna get $1 bazillion."
Okay,
I was speaking at a Juneteenth event in Eastern Michigan. It's a suburb of
pause it right there, bro. Pause it right there. Hey, look, you can't get $6 quadrillion in monopoly money. All right. So we have the full segment at our YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, and the Facebook fan page, The African History Network, because I go on to talk about the Black Freedmen Indian Treaties of 1866 as well. Hey, we're celebrating our 13th anniversary of me broadcasting the African History Network show. I started March 10th, 2010. And it's been 13 years, and it'll be 7 years in April here on 910 AM Superstation. You can support us $ the AHN show through Cash App and through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN show. Visit our website, theafricanhistorynetwork.com. Right now, it's correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. We'll talk to you next week. Peace. All right, everybody. Let's see. We're going to squeeze in this last story here. This last story deals with the update in the story of the African Americans who were in Mexico. And they went to Mexico. One of them was getting a cosmetic procedure done. Now, her mother told her, don't go. Apparently, she went because it's cheaper to get certain procedures done, like in Mexico, things like that. I'm not, if I can't get surgery done here in the US, no, I'm not I'm not doing that. But when we look at this story here, it's a sad story. Now we know two people survived, and two of their friends were brutally killed. If we go to this one here, let's see. Let's get. All right, let's go to, and we got to bring this one up. Mexican authorities arrest 5 people linked to kidnappings of 4 Americans, officials say. Okay, let's go to this article here from NBCnews.com. Okay, the warrants are for the charges of aggravated kidnapping and intentional homicide, according to Irving Barrios Mojica, the Attorney General of Tamaulipas in Mexico. So this article is from March 10th, 2023. 5 people linked to last week's kidnappings and slayings of a group of Americans near the Brownville, Texas border have been arrested, a Mexican official announced on Friday. Irving Barrios Mojica, the Attorney General of Tamaulipas, said on Twitter that the warrants were for charges of aggravated kidnapping and intentional simple homicide. An additional person was arrested in recent days, Barrios Mojica said. Now, in a separate tweet on Thursday night, he said 5 vehicles, including a Lamborghini stolen on U.S. soil, were found in Matamoros as part of a joint operation by Mexican officials. The Gulf Cartel apologized on Thursday after 2 Americans were killed in the daylight abductions on March 3rd, in which 4 Americans crossed the border into Matamoros, Mexico, just south of the Texas border. So we know these were 4 African Americans, and at first their race had not been released. And then I think when a lot of us found out that they were Black, we were all shocked. Now the cartel condemned the violence in a letter obtained by the Associated Press and said they had turned over members who were involved. A senior law enforcement official told NBC News that U.S. authorities believe the letter is legitimate. Now, in the letter, it said the Gulf Cartel strongly condemns the events of Friday, March 3rd, in which unfortunately an innocent working mother died and 4 American citizens were kidnapped, of which 2 died, a translation of the letter says. For this reason, we have decided to hand over those involved and directly responsible for the events, who at all times acted under their own determination and in discipline and against the rules of the CDG, the cartel, Gulf Cartel, has operated. Now, end quote. Now, the 4 Americans were shot at and kidnapped after they drove into Matamoros for a medical procedure. Tamaulipas State Governor Americo Villarreal said at a news conference that a woman identified by her family as Latavia Washington McGee and a man, Eric Williams, survived the kidnapping. Okay, Latavia Washington McGee and Eric Williams survived the kidnapping. Both were taken to a clinic for medical treatment and returned to the U.S. by an international bridge between Matamoros and Brownsville, Texas. A law enforcement source who helped coordinate her arrival confirmed that McGee arrived Thursday night at Myrtle Beach International Airport in South Carolina. She was assisted in her departure from the airport by law enforcement. Okay. So we know that two unfortunately died as well. They were killed. Their bodies have been returned back to the United States also. Okay. So we'll give you an update next week on this. They are Shaheed Woodard and Zendale Brown. Those were the two who were killed. Check out this article. For more information, check out this article from NBCnews.com. Mexican authorities arrest 5 people linked to kidnappings of 4 Americans, officials say. We also know that the U.S. State Department issued a do not travel alert for Tamaulipas, Mexico, noting that organized crimes, including gun battles, murder, and kidnapping, are common along the border and in Ciudad Victoria. Okay, so check out that article. All right, we have to get out of here. Remember, right now it's correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. And support the African History Network, $ the AHN Show through Cash App and through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN Show. Also register for the online classes that I teach. This helps finance the African History Network, finance the research, stay on the air, keep broadcasting, pay some of the bills, etc. So visit our website, theafricanhistorynetwork.com. All right, talk to you next week. Peace.